Progressive YouTube commentator Kyle Kulinski tweeted out recently that a lot of people are talking about things getting back to normal, but he doesn't think that'll happen. He thinks there's going to be a distinct before and after period, kind of like 9/11, and he's 100% right. I think Kyle's a good dude, by the way, because what we're seeing now is a trampling of the First Amendment across the board and a private media apparatus functioning as an authoritarian attack dog for the establishment and for the government. Take a look at this tweet here from Oliver Darcy. He says, new, Facebook Spox says company is removing a James O'Keefe video posted today for violating its policies on COVID-19 misinfo. Quote, equating COVID-19 with the common flu could cause people not to take the advice of medical professionals and thus contribute to the virus's spread. He goes on to say that spokespeople for Twitter and YouTube say the video doesn't break their platform's policy on COVID-19 misinformation. Why would Oliver Darcy bother reaching out to a Facebook spokesperson about what James O'Keefe had published in his reporting? James O'Keefe of Project Veritas has gotten us some on-the-ground reporting from New Rochelle. It's good reporting. It is what it is. You don't get to decide whether you like it or you don't. In the video, James O'Keefe talked to several people, including a person who's with the National Guard, who said that they believed it was just like the common flu. James O'Keefe was surprised. He said, we draw no conclusions. We're just showing you what people are saying. That's very important. It's called just like general reporting. You go around, you ask people on the front lines, how do you feel? James has also showed his video where people in hospitals are saying it is very serious and people are coming in and dying. James hasn't presented some biased narrative asserting one thing or the other. It's a rather nuanced view. And I see a lot of people appreciating it, saying it's true that some hospitals aren't overloaded and some are. I'm glad that we can get some field reporting. And we have another video from James where he recently went and showed us the results from his test. This is incredible. We have someone actually showing us video footage of what the process is like to get a test, what the people are saying there, and what you can expect. Something we used to call journalism. But now I suppose we get people like Oliver Darcy at the authoritarian attack dog private apparatus for the state, calling up private corporations and getting real journalism removed. This is not journalism. Letting us know that you contacted Facebook and got someone removed. Now I want to be fair. I don't know exactly what happened. I don't want to accuse Oliver of, getting James O'Keefe banned, but it is a known practice where journalists reach out to people, make an accusation, a very biased one, because they know they'll get a reaction. I did a story on this where one journalist called several banks and said, why do you support the Proud Boys? And then sure enough, the Proud Boys end up getting banned from these banks. It's how the journalists do it. I don't know if that's what Oliver Darcy is doing, but we are right now seeing the First Amendment be absolutely crushed, which is why I bring up what Kyle Kulinski said. We're in serious danger. We know that we have the serious danger of the coronavirus threat. Donald Trump has even said it. So whether or not you trust the media or trust the president, I think it's fair to say we are all on the same page. We are going to see thousands of people lose their lives, and it could be as high as 240,000 by the current estimates. We hope it's lower than that, and maybe they're wrong. But we know the threat is real. But there's another threat. We're seeing now several governments restrict freedom of movement, violating the First Amendment's, the freedom to peaceably assemble. The right to freedom of speech is being curtailed because to an extent that's tied. It's the First Amendment in general. We are seeing a lawsuit in Florida demanding that the governor of Florida mandate shutting down all their beaches. We are seeing demands from the left that the government go full authoritarian to stop what is happening. But it's the big cities, the urban centers that are doing this. It's Oakland. It's New York. Yes, there are some pastors in like Louisiana who have refused to back down, but rural areas are at less risk. They're less dense population-wise. So these urban centers are ignoring these orders, and then people in urban centers are seeing this and demanding the entirety of the government go full-on authoritarian. Now, I believe in responsibility. I think we have to do what we have to do to stop this thing. But that's a personal responsibility effort, not a government coming and mandating it. So there's a line. There have been people who have posted that many of us who are liberty-minded are now facing, I think it was Glenn Greenwald who mentioned this. We have a begrudging acceptance of the fact that we have to give in to some security measures because this is getting out of hand and we don't want people to die. But it also means we need to make sure that our rights are retained. And once this is all over, we are not facing a post-COVID period where the media shuts down legitimate journalism. I want to stress this, and we're going to show you that we're seeing Media Matters and other leftist organizations try and get Fox News shut down, and they are lying. It is horrifying how these people are a private arm of the authoritarian state. I don't think everyone in the government or everything government is bad or authoritarian, but there are elements that want power. And there are elements on the left and in the media that want to make sure that power is gotten and our rights are curtailed. And I'm going to show you. Now, again, I don't know what Oliver Darcy did or said, but the assumption many people have is that he's the reason they got banned in the first place, which we've seen in the past. To be fair, it's entirely possible that Facebook was talking to people behind the scenes saying, we're going to ban this. And so Oliver asked what was up. If he's just reporting the information, I don't think it's fair to accuse him necessarily. But I got to be honest, I trust Oliver Darcy not that much. I really, really don't. And I think there's a strong possibility he did do it. But to be fair, I don't want to drag him for something I can't definitively prove. So I will give him respect in that regard. Regardless, we are watching Facebook, a major private corporation, take down Project Veritas. And I'm curious why Oliver Darcy didn't press them on violating the First Amendment, because this is an act, or I shouldn't say the First Amendment, but freedom of the press to take down legitimate field journalism. James O'Keefe did not assert anything. The Army National Guard did, and James showed us the guy saying it. Now, I guess you can't see the guy's lips moving. I think that's something that James O'Keefe likes to say, that we show you people saying things and their lips are moving. Well, this guy's wearing a mask, so, it doesn't work this time. But I trust that O'Keefe is doing legitimate work. James responded, are you literally calling every tech platform right now and asking why our video reporting on COVID-19 is allowed? Is that what CNN has sunk to? We're reporting what we were told on the front lines. Grab a reporter notebook and do the same, put up or shut up. Again, the assumption is, for those that are biased, and I admit I am a little bit too, that Oliver is instigating this in the first place. Why would you even bother getting a statement from these companies about this? It makes no sense. And if that's the case, is Facebook going to go back and start banning all of the BuzzFeed videos? Oh, you're going to love this, what I show you next. Now, what's coming up? I got some photos for you. James says, not one word about the ABC Amy Robach scandal. It was not newsworthy to you. ABC colluded with CBS to fire an innocent woman. Brian Stelter. But CNN calls every tech company to try and get a video of us reporting what literal frontline soldiers and workers tell me. That's where we are. And now we can see Greg Gutfeld going on the offensive. Greg's a funny guy. I think he's a good dude. Lion scumbag. Greg Gutfeld goes to war with Media Matters employee after the 5 coronavirus coverage claim. I use something called NewsGuard. You hear me talk about it a lot. The reason I bring it up is it's a check on my bias. You can see a little green check mark up here in my, my extensions. And you can see that the Daily Caller is considered, for the most part, credible, but they're deceptive sometimes. They don't handle opinion very well or disclose, the financing. But they do correct. They don't publish fake news. Yeah. NewsGuard says they're good. NewsGuard gives a better rating to Media Matters, who overtly lies about Fox News. Why? I think they're trying to get Fox News damaged. They've gone after Tucker Carlson's advertisers. They're doing it again. Did you know that Tucker Carlson and the 5 were one of the first media platforms to call out the threat of the coronavirus? Greg Gutfeld, particularly on January 28th, said our administration isn't doing enough on this. Incredible. Meanwhile, what was going on? The media was telling us over and over again, like the Washington Post, USA Today, that it was just the flu. Today, Kara Swisher for the New York Times, I believe it's Kara Swisher, I'm getting this right. I want to make sure it's Kara Swisher for the New York Times is claiming that Fox News is doing a really, really bad job. This is the evil, it's the banality of evil in a sense. Like Kara's just not smart enough to know what's actually going on or do any research. And there's a lot of people like this. I'm not trying to insult her for an emotional response. I'm saying she quite literally doesn't have the ability to do the job of fact checking. Because if you're going to make a claim like Fox News was fake, then you need to go and actually check what was going on. I do this all the time. I'm not perfect. I certainly mess up a lot. So I'm not going to pretend like I'm necessarily better than her or that I'm smarter than her in any way. No, for sure. We all get things wrong. But when I look at what's going on with the media, particularly in this story, I can tell you that she is completely wrong and didn't do any background research. I believe I have a photo somewhere here. Yes. This is a viral meme that's going around. It's a collage of all the various headlines that were saying the flu was worse than coronavirus. This is one of my favorite. Get a grip, America. The flu is a much bigger threat. They say we should de-escalate the war on coronavirus from Wired. Are you nuts? Coronavirus is scary, but the flu is deadlier, they say. All of this from all of these different outlets, some of which I believe are, I don't know if some of them are right-leaning. But we can see that even Snopes down at the bottom said the coronavirus has spread quickly. It is nowhere near as widespread as previous epidemics such as swine flu or Spanish flu. Flu hitting Arizona despite attention on coronavirus. That was everyone in the media. Why isn't Kara Swisher talking about them? I'll tell you why. The media's goal, in my opinion, is homogenous, authoritarian support of authoritarianism in general. Why does James O'Keefe get removed? Did he say anything wrong? He actually did not. He just filmed things on the ground and they took down legit field reporting. That's insane. They go after Fox News, and Fox News absolutely, in certain capacities, did downplay this. But it was Tucker Carlson and Greg Gutfeld who were ringing, the warning bells much earlier than everyone else in media. Check this out. Someone posted this. Hey, this is what you said about the coronavirus on January 28th, which I believe is the first time the Five discussed it. Greg Gutfeld in this clip says this is a serious threat. China's locking down their country. If they're saying the CDC is saying we shouldn't travel to China, shouldn't we restrict travel from China as well? Greg was calling this out. On February 4th, the Washington Post says, get a grip. The flu is worse. Incredible. And then Media Matters publishes out of context clips to try and make Fox News look like they were the only ones who did it. And they're trying to get their sponsors removed. That's their goal. Let's read this story from Daily Caller. Fox News host Greg Gutfeld waged a Tuesday afternoon Twitter war with a Media Matters employee who accused him of lying about when Fox News' The Five began taking coronavirus seriously. Quote, I wonder when The Five sounded the alarm on the virus back in January. What was Chuck's concern? Gutfeld said on Tuesday's The Five. The clip was posted by Andrew Lawrence, Media Matters Deputy Director of Rapid Response, along with the caption, Greg Gutfeld says Fox's The Five sounded the alarm on coronavirus back in January, but he's lying. Media Matters is lying. They lie all the time. You know, my favorite thing about Media Matters was I had a video where I had a quote from the Star Tribune, a newspaper, an established newspaper in Minnesota. I read that quote and they claimed I lied about what the quote was. And they even showed the image of the quote. It's mind-bogglingly insane. It's like someone holding a banana in your face and saying it's not a banana. Or like Star Trek, there are 4 lights. If you know what I'm talking about, excellent episode. But they're trying to demand you look at the truth and then tell you it's not the truth. That's what they're doing here. Lawrence posted 2 other tweets in an attempt to bolster his case, showing Jesse Waters saying, I'm not lying. It's called the power of positive thinking. And America needs to wake up to that. I live in Manhattan. I got off work the other night, went to the subway. Asian guy was sitting down next to me, mask on. What do? Finish the ride, go home and order Chinese food. I'm not afraid of the coronavirus and no one else should be afraid of that either. Jesse Waters was saying, don't be racist. He wasn't saying there's not a real threat from the coronavirus. He's saying if you see somebody who's wearing a mask, they're Asian, don't freak out. Order Chinese food. It's not that, like, don't do that. The media said the exact same thing. I'll go back to the other post. Check this out. As the coronavirus spreads, fear is fueling racism and xenophobia. Why is it that when Jesse Waters says basically the same thing, don't be afraid, you can sit next to somebody, it's not a big deal, you can order Chinese food, they accuse him of downplaying coronavirus? I hate, it's another day, same old, me ragging on the media. What else is new? It's almost disheartening because what else is there to talk about? It's every single day. There's something else the media is lying about because they don't care about informing you or telling the truth. They care about spinning a narrative to win. And that's why you will see all of these stories completely contradictory to what they're reporting now. On the same day, they'll post something like, this is bad, this is not bad. You know why? They want both factions. There are people who don't think coronavirus is a big deal. People who think it is. They'll write both. And then you're confused what the editorial mission of the paper is. Like, I don't understand. Is it really bad? And they say, oh, we're just publishing opinion. And you're confusing everybody. If you have an editorial stance, take one. Stop pretending like you're just going to publish whatever. It's irresponsible to accuse Fox News of doing a bad job, saying they should have known better when you didn't either. Let's go back to that story and see what Greg had to say. Gutfeld promptly fired back, accusing Lawrence of deliberately lying without checking and instructing him to see his pinned tweet and retract. He says this Media Matters is deliberately lying. He could have easily checked, but didn't. The Fox News host's pinned tweet included the 5 clip from January 28th, in which Gutfeld and other hosts discussed the need for a travel ban on China because of the coronavirus's rapid spread. This was January 28th. What were media hacks who were acting like they're Nostradamus now saying back then? Zilch. That's right. Impeachment. Orange man bad. Joe Biden was talking about impeachment and climate change. Donald Trump was forming a task force. I love this because Jennifer Rubin, the famous fake conservative who claims she's a liberal, said Donald Trump's the Donald Trump death toll is the total death toll minus the people who could have been spared if Trump had heeded the warnings or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Basically saying that Donald Trump is responsible. And I said, all right, I'm down to use this logic because if that's Trump's death toll, then the Democrat death toll is literally everyone who died. Because while Trump actually did things like the travel ban with China on January 31st and formed the task force on the 29th, I believe, the Democrats were impeaching him and doing nothing. It's not like Trump has the sole responsibility of everything happening in this country. Congress does as well. And what were they doing? Impeachment, even though we all knew it would fail. So sure, if you want to play this pundit game, I got no problem saying you're right. Trump could have done a better job. He did a bad job, and the Democrats did a substantially worse job. Who are you going to vote for in November? Excellent argument, by the way. Greg Gutfeld says, hey, Andrew Lawrence, care to comment? We covered the virus early and often retract now. Of course he won't. Lawrence responded by reiterating his previous point. Look at the Five's coverage of coronavirus, which you said took coronavirus seriously since January. Greg responds, you called me a liar when there was footage of me showing the importance it was taken. You are a lying scumbag for knowing that fact and denying it. You know you lied. Now be a man and admit it. Doubling down, Lawrence then said, Fox News' coronavirus coverage is going to get people killed. Oh, so now it's not about Greg Gutfeld, who you lied about. It's about other hosts that downplayed things. Okay, Andrew, Media Matters also accused Fox News in January of fear-mongering. It's incredible. Media Matters, straight up on January 28th, said they were showing unfounded footage and they were fear-mongering about China. Media Matters is going to get people killed. Probably already did. That's your fault. You're in deep, dude, Gutfeld wrote in response. You lied about my coverage, slandered me in a very vital way, and now you're running from your own claim. Retract now, be a man if that's indeed possible. Look at the pinned tweet. You know you effed up. Fix it now. Sue him, dude. Just sue him. It's time to sue these people. He lied. We know he lied. Here's a video of Greg Gutfeld on the 28th saying it, and the Media Matters guy was saying to the contrary. There you go. False statement of fact with evidence. He knows it's wrong, refuses to retract. Sue him. Sue him and see what you can do. I have this other story here from Breitbart. Dr. Anthony Fauci cautions Jim Acosta for taking soundbite out of context. Well, sort of. Basically what happened is Jim Acosta asked a question. And then what Dr. Fauci said is it's hard to answer questions because he knows the media will snip the soundbite, take it out of context, and make everyone freak out. Since this whole thing began, people have been trying to create a fight between Dr. Fauci and Trump, and there isn't one. I see these sensationalist headlines like Fauci pours cold water on Trump's plans. And it's Fauci saying things like, I think Trump is trying to give people hope by, saying he wants to reopen the economy, but we'll see how things play out. Donald Trump said, look, I want to get things opened early, hopefully by Easter, but I'm going to talk with the health experts and determine what makes the most sense. What does the media report? Trump doesn't care about our lives. Dr. Fauci pours cold water on his plans. In reality, it was a calm, rational discussion. This is why Donald Trump's approval rating once again is higher than it's ever been. I kid you not. The new RCP poll has Trump 0.3% higher than the other day. It has been going up, up, up. 47.6 approval. Now, all in all, I'll just show you. Trump's job approval, 47.6% higher than it has ever been once again. And his job on the coronavirus as well is way up. Now, not higher than it's ever been because the coronavirus is, relatively new phenomenon. But we see a new poll has come out from Grinnell Seltzer with a 0.2 positive. This is why the media is floundering, trying to get people like James O'Keefe banned, trying to get Fox News banned. Right now, I believe most of these networks have stopped covering Trump's press events on the coronavirus. Why? The American people were seeing behind the curtain. The media was lying, taking things out of context, smearing people. And when they actually got to watch Trump, they said he's doing a good job. So Fox News is still covering it. Well, if Fox News won't get in line behind the authoritarian private apparatus for the state, then they're going to try and shut him down with lies and deceit. So good on you, Kara Swisher, for doing no research and smearing Fox News and ignoring the other side of the industry's downplaying in this virus. I can't stand the media, man. And I gotta admit, I'm reading these stories and I was like, oh, great. I'm going to do another video talking about how the media is lying. But we all get it. At what point do I just say, like, if it's in the news, it must be wrong? All right, well, I'll break it down and I'll pull back a little on the hyperbole. The reality is I do use a lot of these sources to verify facts. But what happens is it's kind of like Swiss cheese. You've got a bunch of holes. The holes are the fake news. And regular people don't know what the fake news is. So to them, they see a plain sheet. For me, I look at it, I can see all the pitfalls, all the holes, and I know where the lies are, and I try to navigate that to bring as much, the most accurate depiction of what's going on as I can. But if I'm going to use the New York Times as a source, and they're likely wrong, what more can you do? I honestly don't know. We're in deep trouble, to say the least. There's something called the Gell-Mann amnesia effect. For those that aren't familiar, I'll wrap it up with this final thought. The idea is, let's say you're an expert plumber, and you read a story in the New York Times about plumbing. And of course, the journalist gets everything wrong. You say, I'm a plumber, and this is insane. They have no idea what they're talking about. You then go to the next story in the New York Times and it's about foreign policy or coronavirus, and you go, wow, I didn't know that. But why would you assume those stories are true if the stories they report on that you're an expert on are not true? The reality is most of their stories are probably fake to varying degrees. They're probably wrong to varying degrees, misframed. And so it's really hard to break through and figure out what's really going on. I do my best. I'll leave it there. Thanks for hanging out. Stick around. Next segment will be up at 4 p.m. youtube.com/Timcast, and I will see you all there.